I'd already noticed something at this point in WrestleMania, and we're only 2 matches in, and that's that was like so out of place because he's like a wrestler's wrestler.
And they played a hype video. It was a Butterbean highlight package with Bart Gunn talking like he's going to make a fight out of this. He thought he had a chance. He thought he had a chance.
I never point out the botches, so I can't really say anything about this match.
Fair enough. I think this is one of those things that you'd have to watch from the beginning to fully appreciate, because when you're just getting snippets of it, it just doesn't seem very impressive.
I was looking at that guy and said, I think I can take it.
Didn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he only lost like 6 fights.
I don't know. He just looked like someone I thought I could take. He didn't look intimidating.
Did you not see his moves against the chicken? Likes to tuck the IC title in with his son before he kisses him on the lips.
That's just a heartfelt moment. I don't know what you're talking about there.
Yep. Moving on, we have our Wrestling Rewind.
Retro review.
We're in Philly, PA for this one too. What are the odds? Boys to Men sing America the Beautiful. And it's fucking Boys to Men. It kicked ass.
They sure did.
Classy Freddie Blassie narrated a video package. That kicked ass too. And WrestleMania finally starts. And goddamn did it feel big. The pyro and the music and shit. Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler are on commentary. It's no good old JR. And to open up, Al Snow, Hardcore Holly, and Billy Gunn all face each other for the Hardcore Championship. So this is the Hardcore Championship's WrestleMania debut. At this point, Snow is with the Job Squad, and he has head. This was definitely a hardcore match. Snow was the one doing most of the work, especially with that hockey stick. Specifically,
at one point, he just like straight hit him in the dick.
Yeah. Snow hit Gunn and Holly with head, but instead of pinning them, he goes to get a table. Then he sets it up in the corner. Billy recovers, and he nails Holly with a chair, then sends Snow through the table. Then Billy Faymasters Snow onto a chair, and then he goes for the pin. But Holly had enough time to recover, so he grabs the chair, creams a defenseless Billy in the back with it, and then he covers Snow for the 1-2-3. I thought it was pretty inoffensive, and I'm glad it wasn't that long. It was more of a nostalgia match for me.
I like how in his character Al Snow was. But yeah, it was just a there match for me.
Well, after that, D'Lo Brown and Test faced Owen Hart and Jeff Jarrett for the tag team titles. And I guess Jarrett and Hart attacked D'Lo and Test on Sunday Night Heat, so they don't like each other. And Ivory's there with a bandage on her face. Apparently Terry Runnels, Marlena, put a cigar out on her face. So that's special.
I remember that happening.
I don't.
Not to Ivory, but I remember the cigar out on someone's face.
Test and D'Lo argue as soon as they come out. Deborah McMichael is there. She looked really good. And this is after 97 sold out. So in WCW, that wasn't her peak.
Yeah. I was wondering if this was before or after. So this was after she had her respect.
Yeah. And I like that she showed more skin in WWF.
Boy, did she.
They didn't even try.
Well, I mean, they had the little coat thing on.
It was little.
Which I was wishing was going to get ripped off at some point, but it never did.
Nope. So D'Lo saved Test. Then Test tags in D'Lo and tells him to get his ass in the ring and do something. And in fact, Test yelled at D'Lo every time he got hit. And Ivory and Deborah end up yelling at each other, and that distracts the referee. Jarrett ends up rolling D'Lo up after a drop kick from Owen. And then Ivory's now yelling at Marlena and Jacqueline for some reason. And Ivory and Test yell at each other. And then D'Lo and Test start fighting. I'm just glad this was short.
I'd already noticed something at this point in WrestleMania, and we're only 2 matches in. And that's that Owen Hart was like so out of place because he's like a wrestler's wrestler. I also feel the same like about Ken Shamrock later, but I don't know. Everybody's like so over the top character wise.
Yeah.
And Owen Hart just felt like, I mean, he was a good character and he had his nugget thing and all that, but you can just tell he wasn't like, as over the top as everybody else. He was more.
He was teamed with Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett's not over the top. I
Oh,
don't
he's
think
got the strut.
so. That does
He's
it
gonna
for
get
him.
there. He's
Okay.
gonna get there. He's gonna get way more overbooked Carney. But yeah, it just stuck out to me that Owen Hart kind of felt out of place because he's like a wrestler and everybody else were characters.
Well, it just kind of made me sad because eventually Owen's not going to show up on any more of these WrestleManias, and like our lasting memory of him is going to be like of these 3 fucking minute matches with Test and D'Lo.
Yeah, there's that too.
So we had the Brawl for All finals after that. This is Butterbean versus Bart Gunn, and they played a hype video. Basically, it was a Butterbean highlight package with Bart Gunn talking like he's going to make a fight out of this. And a couple people Bart paid off said he's knocking out Butterbean. And then Bart says he hits hard and he's not afraid of being hit. He's going to go right at Butterbean. He thought he had a chance. He thought he had a chance. This stupid son of a bitch. I don't know if he like actually went the whole step of believing that he was going to win, but he thought he was going to make a fight out of this.
Yeah, I mean, I guess at some point you just gotta believe in yourself.
No, not against somebody like Butterbean or Tyson. And I'm not comparing Tyson and Butterbean, but like those power hitters
Yeah.
that do it professionally. There's no fucking way. So Isaac Hayes and Mean Street Posse are ringside, and the Tasmanian Devil, Vinny Ponzienza, is the special guest referee. Tyson, what's your favorite Vinny Ponzienza bout?
I couldn't tell you that I had one.
What's your second favorite one?
I was looking at that guy and said, I think I could take him.
Vinny?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he only lost like 6 fights.
I don't know. He just looked like someone I thought I could take. He didn't look intimidating. Like Pacquiao, he looks intimidating a little bit. But this guy had like his gel in his hair. Now, again, it's contextual to the times. This is what, the 90s, late 90s? So,
yeah. Pacquiao looks like he fights for food.
He does.
And this Panzienza guy, he just looks like a tough street kid.
I was unimpressed.
Okay.
You can't be having...
Did you not see his moves against the chicken?
I did. He moves quick.
Oh, man.
The little
Laid that chicken out. He knocked that chicken the fuck out. You want to tell me Vinny Ponzienza ain't impressive? He'll whoop your ass, son.
I guess so.
So some other boxing people were at ringside, and Gorilla Monsoon was there, which was great. I don't know if this is his last appearance or not. Bart Gunn and Butterbean meet in the middle of the ring. Butterbean looks like that kid in math class that is really quiet, and he got poked the wrong way. And the match starts, and Bart Gunn gets knocked out almost immediately. Like, it's not even a contest. It's one of those fights that starts off, and Butterbean is swinging, and Bart is just backed up, and he's putting his hands up, not in defense, but in a flinching manner. And you can just tell that it's just only a matter of time.
In the boxing world, they call it the 2-piece with a biscuit. When he hit him with that first combination, when he went low and then went high, for the first time, like you can tell he was just overmatched. This whole thing went like 20 seconds. So
I believe the hype video was longer than the actual match.
Oh, it was. It was. The video was longer than the match. But I watched it a couple times, seeing Bart Gunn just go good night. The first little combo, he hits him. Bart Gunn falls down. Butterbean's already celebrating, and then he gets back up. I was like, "Oh, you want to get back? You should have stayed down."
He's on his knees, like, "Huh? Wasn't expecting that. Let me get back up."
It was that first combo. He already knew. I'm in trouble.
Well, my favorite part is Butterbean knows Bart Gunn is not a trained fighter. He even offered to work with Bart, just like he did with Mark Marrow, but I guess Vince shut that down. And according to the Dark Side of the Ring documentary, Butterbean was telling the other wrestlers that like he's gonna kill Bart and he doesn't have a chance. Like, I'm gonna murder this guy. I don't know what your boss is thinking. But all of that did not stop Butterbean from celebrating like he just knocked out Tyson.
Well, I mean,
it was great.
Knocking someone out still feels good. Doesn't matter the circumstances, I guess.
He celebrated. He knew he knocked out a nobody. but he acted like it was the biggest knockout in the world. It was great. And they showed the replay many times, and Bart's head looked like one of those slow motion deals where they smash a watermelon.
Yeah, bounced off the bottom rope and all that.
Yep, fell on the ropes. And then a chicken comes out. It fucks with Vinny Ponzienza. Vinny Paz uppercuts the chicken, and it seems knocked out. Then the chicken gets up, runs around the ring, and starts shadowboxing with Ponzienza.
Yeah.
So after that, we get the Mankind versus the Big Show. And the winner of this match gets to referee The Rock versus Austin. And this one started on Sunday Night Heat too. Big Show attacked Mankind, kicked his ass. I guess he was looking for Austin or something, but he found Mankind instead.
That's what they told us, yeah.
So some pudgy fuck is interviewing Mankind. He says all Mankind wanted to do was be a part of WrestleMania. And every time he was given an opportunity, Mankind answered. But tonight, Mankind has his toughest challenge yet. The Big Show. Mankind says he's beaten The Undertaker, he's beaten Stone Cold, and now Vince McMahon has thrown another hurdle at him. Mankind tells Big Show that he tried to play nice, but now he's going to be a very angry young man. And hopefully, Big Show can try to have a nice day. So Big Show basically kicked Mankind's ass for however long the match was. There was a moment where Big Show just pushed Mankind into the steel steps and he fell over and just crumpled.
I was gonna say that he's really good at like folding his body in half to make the other person look so
Like,
much more devastating.
Yeah. Mankind got the mandible claw into Big Show, and he fights out of it by crushing Mankind. And with that scream, I don't think he was selling. I think that was legit. Big Show hits Mankind with a chair, and he gets a stern talking to. And then he choke slams Mankind onto 2 chairs, and that's a bridge too far. So the ref disqualifies the Big Show. Show whoops on Mankind with the chair. Then he goes after the ref, slobbering all over the place. Vince McMahon comes out, and he does the Heenan thing where he pisses off the Giant, and then he gets thumped. But the Giant thinks twice about it. He had Vince McMahon in a choke slam, and he puts him down. Vince McMahon, who looks like he's about to shit himself, starts to get his confidence back. So he didn't learn his lesson at all. And he's back in the Giant's face, and he slaps him. Naturally, the Giant lays Vince McMahon out, and Big Show storms off, yells at Patterson and Briscoe that nobody owns him. And Mankind ends up getting stretchered out. And later, Vince demands a phone so he can call the cops and have Big Show arrested.
It was weird to me up until this point, and then continuing after a little bit, that everything had like DQ finishes, run-ins. Definitely the theme of the WrestleMania. I don't know. It took me out of this match that the fact that there was I guess it was over at that point, but the fact that there was a DQ.
Well, the Big Show got disqualified, so he's not able to referee Austin and The Rock. And Big Show is part of the corporation, so Vince doesn't have his referee in his pocket for the match to make sure that Austin loses.
Yeah. So, of course, the Big Show messed that up. He messed up on WCW, too. So he's always messing up.
Yeah. Well, after that, Road Dogg, Val Venus, Goldust, and Ken Shamrock all faced each other for the Intercontinental title. Before the match, Venus says he's going to win the Intercontinental title, but the ladies shouldn't worry because it still won't be able to keep his pants on. And Goldust has improved since we last saw him, although he's with the Blue Meanie.
And Ken Shamrock's daughter, or sister, whatever the hell she was.
Yeah. She was with Val Venus, and now she's with Goldust. Blue Meanie's jealous of Ryan Shamrock getting too close to Goldust because Dustin always has to be in some fucking homoerotic shit.
Yep, we got to keep that going.
And this is a tag team elimination match, I guess. I don't know how the fuck the rules were. And Goldust failed on a curtain call early. Fans sounded really disappointed. I don't think we've seen a curtain call. I don't know if we ever will.
We will.
And Blue Meanie made faces at Ryan Shamrock while her back was turned for some reason. And Shamrock got an ankle lock on Ken Shamrock, not the other one. He got a ankle lock on Val Venus, and then he yelled at the ref for breaking up the hold when Val got on the ropes. Then Shamrock and Venus both fight on the floor, and they get counted out. Shamrock comes in to beat up the Road Dogg and Goldust before leaving it while screaming. Ah! Ryan Shamrock ended up grabbing Goldust's leg, thinking it was Road Dogg. Goldust is pissed, and Road Dogg ended up charging him. Goldust tried to hit a power slam, but Road Dogg counters it into a thing and gets a 1-2-3. And then Blue Meanie tears Ryan Shamrock a new asshole. Goldust yells at her while she cries. Then Blue Meanie laughs. Goldust and Blue Meanie hug and kiss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, there wasn't too much to really take away from this match. However, Road Dogg was over. Even like earlier when Billy Gunn came out, and then it's like, and then the crowd's like, oh, you didn't know? Yeah. So he really had that working for him.
He sure did.
I forgot how over with that he was.
Me too. I was never a Road Dogg fan, so that's probably why I don't remember that.
Yeah, he really had that working for him. And then the shake, rattle, and roll. Isn't he the one nowadays that talk about how he's a bigger draw than Bret Hart and stuff?
Well, no, he said he was a better sports entertainer.
And you can see it there. He had all the things. The entrance, the Michael Buffer announcing, the shake, rattle, and roll, the knee drop thing, all his little things.
Well, up next, Big Show's arrested, so Vince is true to his word. And he calls the cop Bob Newhart. Says they give you monkeys a badge and you think you got some stroke. That's it.
Yep, Big Show's arrested.
Kane versus Triple H is next. And I guess Kane hit China with a little tiny fireball meant for Triple H. And then Triple H, dressed as Goldust, eliminates Kane with a flamethrower cannon. So the creature of Hellfire has this little teeny match, while Triple H has a cannon that is a flamethrower. So before the match, a chicken attacks Kane as he's walking to the ring, and it turns out to be Pete Rose. So Pete Rose got tombstoned.
Trying again. Why would you try that again? What were you thinking?
So this was kind of fun to watch. It was really easy to forget how awesome Kane is, or was, because they, turned him into such a fucking clown. And it kind of seemed like a straight up fight. Like no one really got an advantage. And China ended up coming out in the middle of the match, and she grabbed a steel chair, slid it in the ring, and Kane grabs the steps, but Triple H kicks them into Kane's face. Triple H gets Kane in a drop toe hold onto the steps. Triple H takes a nasty back body drop on the floor from the steps, and then Kane hits Triple H with a choke slam, but China stops him. She's holding a chair. She tells Kane that she wants to nail Triple H with the chair, so Kane says, "Go ahead, baby." Then China hits Kane with the chair just as soon as he turned his back on her. So Kane won by DQ. And Kane turned around. He goes for a choke slam to China, but he stops himself. Then China just taunts Kane. Triple H creams Kane with the chair while Kane was just brooding, beside himself, heartbroken. You can do better than China, Kane. Just saying.
Well, he's burnt. Can he?
Well, Victoria's burnt. I'd start with that.
Sure. She's only new burnt, though.
Well, yeah, he could show her the ways.
Can show you the life of the burnt now.
Let me teach you, my buttercup. So Kane gets pedigreed on the chair, and Triple H and China reunite, and the crowd erupts. So were they the good guys?
Yes.
So Kane was the bad guy who was in love with China, and then Triple H, the good guy, was mad at the bad guy for having sex with his girl.
Well, she left for the corporation.
Oh, okay. Is that what that was?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that when she was with the big boss man?
Yeah. And Kane is also part of the corporation. So he developed feelings with her.
Of course.
And then
as bad guys tend to do.
Yeah. And then she turned on Kane, essentially, and the corporation for Triple H.
Gotcha.
So now she's faced with DX as of this moment.
Gotcha. All right. So the pudgy fuck is back regarding the special guest referee for Rock versus Stone Cold. And he says, Big Show's been arrested. Mankind has been taken to the hospital. So I don't have any answers. So it's like, well, why'd you get in the camera and say you wanted to talk about this? Well, luckily, Vince McMahon shows up to say, I'm going to be the guest referee. So there you go. Problem solved.
Yep. Take matters into your own hands.
We had Sable versus Tori. It's for the WWF Women's Championship. Sable gets on the mic and gives her polarizing, "This is for all the women that want to be me and the men who want to see me." Then she does a little stripper dance. Then Sable asks if us boys are ready for the grind. Then she does another little stripper dance. Sable looked upset and miserable the whole time. She was not trying to be sexy in the least bit. The dance was the sexiest it got, but her face and her just demeanor was just awful. Sunny was way better.
Are you saying she maybe didn't want to be objectified as she was getting?
I'm saying that she was horrible at her job.
This was on the back of Playboy, though, so I don't know.
She didn't seem to be too upset about capitalizing on that objectification.
That's true.
In fact, nobody would know who Sable is if she wasn't fucking Brock Lesnar or her tits.
Well, this is before Brock Lesnar came
Well,
around.
then there you go. Her tits are her only redeeming quality.
Brock Lesnar's still in, what, college, high school at this
maybe.
point? Good for Brock, by the way. You think he was watching the TV and was like, I'm going to be fucking her and soon?
I just know Sunny has that essential quality. She would make me believe that she would want to have sex with me, even though the thought of it would make her vomit in her mouth. Sable does not have that quality.
Yeah.
I couldn't watch the match. She beat Tori.
Yeah, it's probably for the best.
I did skip to one part where Cole was saying how improved Sable was in the ring and how she's becoming a ring general and all that shit. And then she gave a dive on the apron where it looks like she just fell. But Nicole Bass ended up helping. She looked way more mannish than China ever did.
Yeah, she did. But yeah, I never point out the botches, so I can't really say anything about this match.
Fair enough. I just know after
Nicole
that,
Bass was like weird. I don't know how they found such a person.
Howard Stern.
Oh yeah, they did say that. And you know him. He was about the oddities, like Beetlejuice and such.
Yeah, I don't know if she was a bodybuilder or something. And Howard Stern found her.
Yeah, I think that was the way.
She was unique. Shane McMahon faced X-Pac for the WWF European Championship. And DX is interviewed before the match. Pudgy Fuck tells X-Pac his chances must have really improved now that China's back home. So Triple H says DX is whole and Shane better bring it because it doesn't matter if he's the boss's son. X-Pac wants to hand him his corporate ass. And X-Pac says Shane better get ready for some pain. And Shane comes out wearing a shirt that says X-Chump. And he's also with Test. And Patterson and Briscoe tried to jump X-Pac before the match. And Patterson ends up clocking Briscoe. So X-Pac is freed up to kick both of their asses before heading to the ring. And it's pretty much all X-Pac until Test comes in to be the equalizer. Shane tries to do a people's elbow. And he hits X-Pac in the dick. Then starts whooping him with a strap. X-Pac hits a superplex on Shane. Test drags X-Pac out of the ring. He ends up crashing into the ring post when he does that blind charge thing at X-Pac. So he's out. And X-Pac gets the strap. He starts wearing Shane out. X-Pac puts the final nail in Shane's coffin with his karate. And X-Pac hits a Bronco Buster. And then Test smashes X-Pac in the face with his European Championship. And Shane crawls over X-Pac, but only gets a 2 count. Shane tries to hit a Bronco Buster, but misses. Test tries to cream X-Pac again, but is quickly neutralized by X-Pac's karate. Test gets a Bronco Buster, and out comes DX. X-Pac hits an X-Factor on Shane. He goes for the cover. Triple H drags Test out of the ring. China distracts the referee. X-Pac wants to know what the fuck's going on. Triple H comes in from behind and he hits X-Pac with a pedigree. And Triple H drags Shane on top of X-Pac 1, 2, 3. And Triple H must have been really over because the crowd cheered. And then Triple H and China seemingly align with Shane and the corporation. The New Age Outlaws come out. Billy gets his ass whooped by Triple H. Road Dogg is dealt with by Test. Then the lights go out, and it's Kane. DX, Test, and Shane all run away, and then Kane runs after them. And then the New Age Outlaws tend to X-Pac, and then Road Dogg calls Triple H a jagoff.
So Triple H has joined the corporation. As we see this whole night is like the corporation versus everybody else. Kind of like an NWO type deal.
I think this is one of those things that you'd have to watch from the beginning to fully appreciate, because when you're just getting snippets of it, it just doesn't seem very impressive. It just looks like a lot of shit's happening.
Yeah, I was picking that up too, and I was trying to keep that in mind when we were watching it. It's like, I don't know the backstory, although I can remember some of it, but I have to take the context with it, and I don't have the context, so we're just got to take it as face value. But I do remember, Triple H joining the corporation. I just, for some reason, forgot that it happened the same night that DX was whole.
I think this is the beginning of Triple H and Stephanie.
Oh, there you go.
Not the beginning, but the seeds. Because
yeah,
if you recall, Undertaker was talking about a her in his promos. What her could he be talking about? We know it's not Linda, because Vince is too busy fucking hookers to give a shit about her.
Yeah, he has no soft spot for Linda. But yeah, overall, I actually enjoyed this match, which was weird. After the Fatal 4-Way match, I think it picked up more for me, and I started to enjoy it, except for the Sable thing.
Yeah.
Let's not count that into the enjoyment column.
I don't know if I'm still burnt out from WrestleMania 40, but this just seemed like a sequence of events. Until Undertaker Boss Man, I'd say.
Oh, boy.
Well, it's a Hell in a Cell, and Undertaker and Vince McMahon are apparently at odds. Undertaker has abducted Shane, and he's setting teddy bears on fire. That just devastates McMahon. McMahon ends up recruiting the help of Big Boss Man. He has Taker arrested. Taker goes to McMahon's house. McMahon even pleads with Kane for help. It's my family! Lots of references to a she. And the first theme update for The Undertaker. It's his ministry music.
Which I enjoyed.
I do too. I like the Brothers of Destruction music, though. I think that's his best. Taker looks more like a warlock than an Undertaker at this point.
I think the Kane mentioned that he's growing more and more into the devil.
Okay. And he's reunited with Paul Bearer. And yeah, I loved how violent this match was. Taker was just pummeling Boss Man and vice versa. It was more like a fist fight. Boss Man handcuffed Taker early. Taker fell to the floor and then the handcuffs broke. So then Boss Man grabs a nightstick, works on Taker with it. Taker got busted open. Paul Bearer talked shit to Boss Man the entire time. You're going to serve hard time. Taker tosses Boss Man's face first into the cell. And now Boss Man's busted open. Pretty remarkable how the match wasn't stopped once with both men bleeding. It's weird.
Yeah.
And Taker finally hits a tombstone out of nowhere for the win. The crowd was dead for this match. They were booing at one point, weren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Or saying boring. One of the two. But they cheered for Sable, so they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. After the match, Undertaker stands over Boss Man, and he looks up to the sky. The camera cuts to the rafters, and the Brood descend from the ceiling onto the cell, very awkwardly. The Brood then rip their way into the roof of the cell and lower a noose to the Undertaker. And the Brood, even more awkwardly, ascend to the rafters. Then the cell raises with Boss Man tied to it, and the Boss Man is hung from his neck until he stops moving. And the lights go out, and you can just see the outline of Boss Man's body just hanging in the middle of the ring, and the only illumination is from the camera flashes.
Yeah, as the camera flashing, he's just like hanging and swinging back and forth.
Not one soul is trying to help him.
I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, that was Undertaker versus Big Boss Man. Undertaker's still undefeated. That's important.
He is.
But yeah, dark moment for Big Boss Man. But fuck him. We need to talk about WrestleMania highlights at the Philadelphia Convention Center. And that's what they did. So Michael Cole's in the ring. He announces good old JR, who is going to commentate the main event. Don't know why he didn't do the whole pay-per-view. I'm sure that was a thing.
Well, as you saw his face, this was stroke JR, so I would assume he was either taking it easy because of the stroke, because I remember he had got pulled off TV because he had a stroke.
Well, I also remember he went heel with Dr. Death.
Yes.
So I don't know if this is around that time, because Dr. Death was around Brawl for All.
Could be.
Well, finally, we are at our main event. It is Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock for the WWF Championship. And it just so happens to be a no disqualification match. Vince McMahon comes out to be the guest referee. Then Commissioner Shawn Michaels comes out. And Michaels says, it's not WrestleMania without HBK. And then he tells Vince he needs to brush up on the WWF rulebook. See, had he taken the time to read it, he'd know that only one man can appoint an official at WrestleMania. And that one man is me. Then he tells Vince to get his Jack LaLanne physique out of the goddamn ring. And he says the corporation is barred from ringside. And if he sees them in tonight's main event, Michaels is going to fight Vince out back. Then he escorts Vince to the locker room. Mr. McMahon finally struts away. He walked all the way to the entrance. Then he turned around and he just did a quick strut through the curtain. And there's a fan holding a sign that says Mr. McMahon is gay.
That's good for him.
It's the little things.
Yeah.
So The Rock comes out first. And I thought it was really weird how most, if not all, of the champions came out first for their matches.
They sure did.
And I thought The Rock sold the glass breaking perfectly. Just the look on his face.
Yeah, I was like, you knew this was coming. I don't know why you're surprised.
I took it more as like, all right, it's real now. No more talking. Even though he talked a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, Austin and Rock start talking shit during Austin's entrance, and then they just start fighting. And Rock gets dumped out of the ring early. Then they fight through the crowd. They're really in the crowd. Like, the crowd is surrounding them. They can't do shit. It's a good thing, like, no one had a knife or something. Like, fuck you, Rock. Austin gets back, body drops onto the steel support, holding the lights, and it fucks his knee up. He elbow drops the Rock through the announce table. And then both men spit water on each other. And Rock hits a rock bottom for 2. Then he brings a chair into the ring that Austin uses to take out the ref. Another ref appears. And then Rock finally gets the chair and starts working on Austin. Austin takes a chair straight to the head. And Austin kicks out at 2. Rock hits a Samoan drop, and that gets a 2 count. And Rock's pissed off at the new ref, and he rock bottoms him. The Rock is stunned, but there's no ref. And finally, Earl Hebner comes in to make the count. And Rock kicks out of the stunner. Vince McMahon comes out. And McMahon distracts Austin long enough so the Rock can hit him in the dick. And then Hebner starts yelling at McMahon. So McMahon takes out the third referee. Rock and McMahon are kicking Austin's ass. Then Mankind comes crawling back from the hospital. Mankind decks McMahon. Rock hits in Mankind's face. And then Austin hits Rock with the schoolboy. And that's only a 2, thank God. Like, oh, Rock and Austin, the first one was a schoolboy.
Mhm.
Rock hits another rock bottom. He goes for a people's elbow. He misses the people's elbow. Austin goes for a stunner. Rock catches Austin's stunner kick leg, spins him around, calls him a motherfucker, and goes for another rock bottom. Austin reverses it, hits a stunner, 1, 2, 3. McMahon's crying. Austin celebrates in front of the fans with his title. The beer is part of his gimmick now because he drank a lot of it. And then he asked Hebner to drink beer with him, who got really into it. And then McMahon starts screaming at Austin when he leaves. And then McMahon tells him that Austin's title is still McMahon's and that Austin doesn't deserve it. Austin slugs McMahon and stuns him. And then he pours beer on him. And that was WrestleMania 15.
Yeah, it was pretty good at the end there. The main event, seeing Austin, The Rock selling those stunners. If you notice, he like flopped up on the rope each time.
His selling in general was pretty over the top. Did you notice the parallels between this match and WrestleMania 40?
I was going to say that, and maybe it's just because we just watched it, but I noticed
That
a
could
lot
be
of
too.
similarities. Or Since it was The Rock, maybe he said, "Hey, let's pull from this." Since he was involved, not like in the match. But yeah, it was pretty similar. And then how Austin was celebrating so long at the end, to Cody celebrating so long at the end. So yeah, I did see the parallels there, but it could also be because we just watched WrestleMania. We're about to find out because we're about to go on a run on the Rock main events and Austin main events too.
Well, Steve Austin's feud with the corporation continued. Steve Austin demanded the return of his customized smoking skull belt that was taken from him after losing his title at Breakdown. The Ministry of Darkness continued to threaten Mr. McMahon's family, so he was forced to comply with Austin and give him his stupid belt. And he had Shane deliver it to him. Shane, however, refused, took matters into his own hands, and gave it to The Rock instead. This culminated in a rematch between Austin and The Rock at Backlash. That was 99. And this was when McMahon served as the special guest referee. Austin ended up beating The Rock to get his smoke and skull belt back. And then the Ministry of Darkness continued their war with the corporation. And The Undertaker went after Stephanie. He continued to make sacrifices, including Ryan Shamrock, leading to a feud between Undertaker and Ken Shamrock. I'm sure that was interesting. Undertaker ended up beating him. That was at Backlash in your house. Then Edge and Gangrel turned on the Ministry. So the Brood left. And then they got revenge by defeating the Brood in a 6-man tag match. Because that's what you do in wrestling.
Of course.
And Bart Gunn was never the same. He claimed that the match was fixed and he pissed everybody off and he wasn't on TV for a while. And after Triple H washed his hands of Degeneration X and joined Chyna and the corporation, X-Pac teamed up with Kane to form their tag team, and they captured the titles from Owen and Jeff Jarrett.
Okay.
And our next event is Fall Brawl, I believe it's 7 for WCW.
You were in the 97 era?
And it took place in the Cow Palace in San Francisco, California. The main event is Roddy Piper versus Hollywood Hulk Hogan. And this time, it's for the fucking title. So we know Hollywood Hogan's probably winning.
Yeah.
Some other matches to look forward to is Master 6 versus Dean Malenko for the Cruiserweight title. We have Rey Mysterio Jr. versus Prince Iaukea for the TV title. And Chris Jericho faces Eddie Guerrero for the US title. Kevin Sullivan faces Chris Benoit in a San Francisco death match.
Oh, that's going to be interesting.
That's why I wrote it down. And Lex Luger and the Giant face the Outsiders for the Tag Team Championships.
Pretty decent lineup.
Yes.
And that is our retro review. I think on that note, if you disagree with anything, let us know in the comments. And if you agree with anything, let us know in the comments. On your way out, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Follow us on all the social medias. Have a good night, everybody. Top Guys out.